Well, that was rather exciting and unexpected. Feels like you're in a completely different universe altogether. But hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sin Bin 6 podcast. I am the happiest man alive, Billy North Lewis, and with me is also another very happy man, Joseph Terry. Joseph, how's your weekend been?
Been better. It's been better. I am bereft of any emotion. I am speechless in my anger, and I have literally no answer to what was the worst performance by an England side I think I have seen in about the last 5 years. Maybe potentially even longer than that. This is embarrassing. And I know full well this would be an embarrassing podcast for me to record. So I'm just going to take it on the chin.
That is probably the calmest reaction I've ever seen from an England supporter because I won't say much, but the voice message Joe sent me was a lot more angrier than this. But I won't say much. It honestly, we saw the following: a prop scoring an outrageously fantastic try, Scotland 50, France 40, which is a score you never hear, and Scotland beating that good of a French team, and then the icing on the cake, Italy have beaten England. What is going on? This is the best weekend of Six Nations I've ever witnessed in my life. And honestly, don't get me wrong, if France had won that game the other way around, if France won 50-40, I'd still be calling it a fantastic game regardless. This was brilliant. This is what the Six Nations can deliver. And it was just honestly fantastic. You called it as well with Italy beating England. You said this is the one, and I doubted you. Well, I hate to say it to you, Joseph, but you said Italy will win by 3. They kind of won by a little bit more, but you got it right. I got it wrong. So I'll give you a round of applause for that. You won something.
This doesn't deserve applause. The fact that my prediction was correct, that England were to be beaten by Italy for, I remind you, the first time ever since the professional era, 32 matches, well, 33, one win for Italy, 32 wins for England. And Scotland with a chance of winning the Six Nations, a chance of becoming the first team to win the Six Nations, having been beaten by Italy, which is an amazing stat.
That would be the most Scotland thing to do of winning the Six Nations. Just win it. We beat all the other teams, but we couldn't beat Italy. Yet we still win the Six Nations. That would be fantastic. But here's the absolute hilarity. So last year, England had a chance of winning the Six Nations. And for them to win, we had to beat France. It's hilarious now that we have a chance to win the Six Nations, but we also need England to beat France. So,
but that's not happening.
That's not happening, though.
You know that this England team couldn't beat the French under-20s at this rate, let alone beating the French first 15. I mean, this is so many errors, so many just massive, stupid mistakes. The amount of knock-ons, 3 knock-ons in the final 90 seconds, giving away vital territory. So many, and also so many on the try line and in the red zone as well. I think it was a 1.7 points scored from each visit into the Italian 22, which is just, on another level of bad. We've got Ellis Genge whinging to the referee about the scrum within 10 minutes of the match and eventually losing that scrum despite trying to get favour from the referee and losing out in that battle of trying to get favour from the referee, which is an amazing stat in the first place. You've got Maro Itoje getting sin binned for what is the most obvious yellow card I've ever seen in my life, coming over the top of a ruck. You've got what was a fairly unlucky high tackle, but still a high tackle, from the replacement number 8 after the original number 8 was then taken off, having probably done his knee for the rest of the tournament and maybe the rest of the Premiership season. So for Tom Curry and Sale Sharks fans, tough luck. You've just lost one of your starters. Well, what else can we think about? You've got Finn Smith having a generationally bad kicking performance, not quite as bad as Sam Prendergast, but getting there at points. Just so many things going wrong. And the worst thing about it was for the last 2 years, the biggest problem that we've seen out of Wales, the perennial strugglers, has been first man attack, one on. And that was all England could muster against an Italian team that aren't exactly building the Roman walls, are they? It's like, this is not a strong defensive team. And we weren't able to break past them. And this is what we are dealing with now. Bill Sweeney has come out saying, well, he won 12 games in a row. We're going to back him until the Nations Championship. Okay, we are going to get absolutely demolished by South Africa in the Nations Championship if this happens now. And we are in a seriously difficult position now where the domestic game and the national game are in total disarray and just lack of confidence. This is the best time to be an English rugby fan.
The best time to be an English rugby fan.
And if you couldn't tell, that was some severe irony going through.
It's definitely something. But one thing I think Italy finally managed to combat is sort of is their tiredness. Usually with Italy, they would in the first 60 minutes actually try and show a decent display, and then they just get tired the last 20 minutes. They did not look tired. Those tackles that they managed to hit on England were thunderous, and it was just this was the most physical I've ever seen Italy. And Tommaso Menoncello, we've got to talk about him. Just honestly, so good. It's just, he's amazing. And the fact he's going to Toulouse next season and he's going to be dominating the scene. And, he's only, 24 years old? It's just honestly phenomenal. That last try, Joseph, you cannot deny that last try was so good. And Menoncello's carry was just phenomenal. He was just so good. But I think this is truly, I think everyone was saying it, England are in a crisis, and I couldn't agree more. And it's so weird. You have a good autumn, you beat the All Blacks, and that's great. But the thing is, everyone says that Borthwick's 12-win run was great. Remember some of the teams that they've actually beaten. You've got France and Scotland, who were tough games. Fair enough. Got Wales and Italy, easily brush aside. They had Japan, easily brush aside. USA, brush aside. I think it's just, do you think at times it's just the lack of the bigger teams that England play? Because what if they played the Springboks during that autumn? Do you think... we'd have lost. And this was proven in the Argentina game where the second half collapsed entirely and we were relying on essentially drop goals and penalty chances to try and drag us over the line. So many structural flaws within that run. And this is the difference between Eddie Jones's run and Steve Borthwick's. With Steve Borthwick's, they were winning matches, but you never had any confidence. You had no idea what kind of rugby they were going to play apart from kicking to touch and taking the line out. This was the problem they had. Whereas with Eddie Jones, at least you kind of knew what rugby they were going to play. Steve Borthwick's rugby has been mind-numbingly boring ever since he took over. Yeah.
It always has been, and it always will be. And the worst thing about this entire situation for me, the moment that we actually face a team who've got some heart and they've got some reason to fight, because let's be honest, the Autumn Nation series is about as, useful a competition and a tournament to win as the was it the Katita Cup, that random trophy between Scotland and
Oh,
Italy?
yes.
Some random tournament like that. This is nothing. This is like New Zealand winning the Lipovitan D trophy against New Zealand. Like nobody really cares about the Autumn Nations series, and it was only really Argentina that cared because they had that monumental second half run. Whereas what we now have to deal with is we face France fighting for a title, final game of the Six Nations in front of a home crowd, and we're going to have to walk back 10 changes to the team.
Yep.
So it's going to be an entirely new 15 that starts against a buoyant French who know that they have got to win the match by a bonus point. This is the worst case scenario there could have been. And to make it even worse, if Wales beat Italy, there is a very strong chance of finishing bottom of this group. And finishing bottom of the Six Nations, having been tipped by myself and by yourself as well as Grand Slam champions, is quite possibly one of the biggest collapses of a Six Nations campaign I will have ever seen in my life.
It was absolutely horrible. I regret calling those predictions out, but for Wales to avoid the wooden spoon, they would have to absolutely thrash Italy, and I don't see that happening. I'm seeing a physical battle. But the thing is, though, and talking of physical battle, will Italy still be up for it? They will be up for it, but I think the bigger question is, can they match them? Can they match Wales physically after a physically draining game against England? Because I don't think they'll be 100% come the Wales game, but I still think Italy will come out on top. But it's going to be a really tight game in Cardiff. But yeah, we can
also,
go on.
Also, we need to get a reporter on the Peroni factory as well. See how many of the bottles have been pinched by the Federation of Italian Rugby after last night's victory. But no, you are spot on. And of course, we all know that the Welsh front row is swashbuckling after Rhys Carray's trial of tournament, which we'll probably talk about in a bit.
My new hero, by the way, Rhys Carray. As a prop myself, that was glorious. I'm calling it now. That's my favorite moment in the Six Nations ever.
What people
say, that was phenomenal. It does us front row justice, showing just how amazing we can be at times and just how vital we are. Not just
I want to get your take on this. Genji talking about, they're pushing first, whatever. Is that on? Like, is that on to be going to the referee and saying, oh, this, they're pushing first, trying to get favour from the referee as a front rower? Or was that just clutching at straws? Because to me, it sounded like clutching at straws and knowing that you were losing the scrum 10 minutes into the game.
I would say it's just Ellis Genge being incredibly frustrated. I think there's got to be more to it, because just seeing him like that is just, I don't know, like, I want to say out of character, but we've seen it before with props. They get frustrated and they speak to the ref about it. But the way Ellis Genge was going on about it, it was just something different. And I think the scrummaging was fine. I just think he needs to just get on with it. And it sounds harsh, but if I'm being honest, he was just getting frustrated because England obviously have never lost to Italy. And I think there was definitely frustration building up because England were seriously under pressure, and many rugby fans were calling it, including yourself, that Italy were going to win. This was finally it, that Italy were going to do it. And I think with Ellis Genge, he's probably gone, I can't be bothered. I don't want to hear any of this. It was just something else. And I just think England looked totally lost. You can see Maro Itoje, Luke Cowan-Dickie, all the players just looking totally lost at times. And you got it spot on about the last minute with all those knock-ons. That's schoolboy era rugby. And this is just ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. And And it's just that facial expression there. You just come, your hands just cover your eyes in sheer disappointment. That completely sums it up. But we've got to talk about the other games. Ireland 27, Wales 17. What an interesting game. I didn't really see the game because I was away with family. But from what I could tell, some improvement from Wales. Not perfect. Wasn't perfect, but Steve Tandy is trying to bring on a more defensive structure, and obviously he was the defense coach for Scotland. So, not a hammering as I thought it would be. So, this is another question. This is like bringing on another question. Is there a chance now? Do Wales have a better chance of beating Italy?
Definitely. Wales played good rugby against Ireland. Genuinely good rugby. Really strong in the set piece, really strong in the line in the scrum, particularly. And there was the bust up between what was Nicky Smith and Tyg Furlong when Tyg Furlong went all red in the face towards the end of the second half. But in the scrum, they were on top. And I think the thing that Steve Tandy has done well is try and, with the help of Matt Sherratt, try coach Wales out of that one-on attacking style, which we all knew Warren Gatland for his championship Grand Slam winning teams. Attackingly, they're still lacking a bit of bite, but you expect that. This is where...
Unless you're Reece Carey, of course, who can do some absolute blinder of a try. But yeah, they're on the right path by the looks of it. And I think if they can beat Italy, that means, if they do beat Italy, that means there is some light. That means there is improvement. And we could see them, getting better and better and sort of returning to form. And, when Jack Morgan returns, that's going to be such a boost. Because I think if Jack Morgan had played all those games that Wales have played so far in the championship, I would have confidently said that Wales would have beaten Italy. I just think if he was there, he would have absolutely turned it around a lot easier for Wales than, as Wales currently are now. But, that by the looks of it, on the right path. And for Ireland, does this give... They've got Scotland next week, and it does bode the question, if Wales can play like that, does Scotland have a chance? It's just... I say no.
They do.
We never seem to have a good run.
Yeah,
the last time we were in Dublin, we were very close. What was it, 17-13 to Ireland? Yeah, very close. But Ireland always seem to find a way. But we'll catch on that later on. Just the Ireland-Wales game. Ireland, their squad depth is looking better and better every time I see it, because who are they missing? Mac Hansen, James Lowe, Bundy Aki, and the players they've brought in for them. Bundy Aki is now going to have to fight Stuart McCloskey for that number 12 shirt because, oh my goodness, Stuart McCloskey, fantastic all round.
Yeah, it was the bench's victory, I think, against Wales. Ireland was seriously flagging towards the end of that first half, and particularly about the 50th minute mark, I'd say. And the crowd weren't exactly noisy either. The crowd wasn't getting on anybody's back, despite the fact it was a Friday evening fixture, which you'd expect there to be some noise involved. And it's against one of Ireland's biggest rivals as well. Yeah. Like with England, Scotland, France and Italy, you then have Ireland and Wales. There's always been that feisty fixture, and there always is. And you'd expect that from the Irish crowd, because they love to beat the Welsh. Oh, they love it. Yeah. But, and it just didn't happen. It just wasn't there. And you looked at that bench, which was emptied very well. And I think that Ireland did deserve to win. Ireland are nowhere near their peak powers of even last year. Nowhere near still. And I think the jury is still kind of out in terms of why. I'm still slightly lost on why this campaign has taken such a nosedive. But you have to say that at least they know who's starting which position. Gone are the days of Sam Prendergast with dreadful kicking, and we're now seeing Jack Crowley really cement his place at 10. I think rightfully so as well. Again, I do have a bit of sympathy for Harry Byrne in this whole situation, who hasn't had any chance to really show his skills throughout this tournament so far. But I think he'll probably have his time in the next set of internationals, potentially the Nations Championship going forwards.
He definitely will, but with Jack Crowley, I think just locked in now as 10, it's just going to be harder for him now. And I think Jack Crowley, I said it before, I think he is the right 10 for Ireland, and he's proved it time and time again. Yet Sam Prendergast, has his moment, but I think Jack Crowley is the 10. And I do agree, if Ireland, the next time Ireland face, maybe a tier 2 nation or face a team like Argentina, give Harry Byrne a go. Give him a chance, because there may be something there. And I think there is with Harry Byrne. He's been good at Leinster. I think, he's just another good option to have at 10. And I think let him have a go. It would be great to see.
And I think on to Wales and their squad depth. Dan Edwards, once again, proving why he deserves to stay in that team. I'm really impressed by Dan Edwards' game tactics. I think his tactics have really leveled up from where he was last year, when he was the sort of last string replacement fly half for the whole situation, with changes to the squad last minute in that pretty awful opener against France when they got absolutely demolished. I think I'm really impressed in him. I'm impressed in how Rhys Sammet has grown into a fullback position. I was not impressed at all, and I was fairly unconvinced by the first match of Rhys Sammet back at fullback, having played at right wing for most of his time at Bristol since his return from the gridiron. I actually think he's playing a lot better at fullback now, and probably going forwards, that is the right position for him to play at. And obviously, the front row are looking superb right now. Rhys Carré, try-scoring machine with 3 tries already this tournament, could be Wales's top try scorer by the end of this. Nicky Smith, who came in to replace Carré, did a really good job and fighting well against Tadhg Furlong, who eventually was forced off the pitch, either due to fitness or because of fears that he was going to have a bit of a fight with Nicky Smith. It was getting very close at points. Tadhg Furlong was definitely not going to be writing Christmas cards to Nicky Smith next season, let's say that. But the front row are looking very strong. And I think that's the most important thing for Wales, is they can build their midfielders and they can build the rest of their base. But as long as they've got a good kicker and they've got a good front row in the scrum, that's the basis you build on to build a decent team going forwards. And they've got that basis now.
I definitely feel like Steve Tandy is going to improve this team so much, and especially with the front row. Again, as I said, he's got a lot of work to do, but this is the right direction for Wales. This is where they need to be. Okay, we got thumped the first 2 games. We gave Scotland and Ireland a bit of a scare. Now the big question is, we need to bring all of this onto Italy. They need to be, I may as well say it, they've got to bring the performance of their lives next week. And speaking of performance of their lives, Scotland 50, France 40. What in the ever-living daylights was that? That was unexpected. That was just something. That was, do you remember England versus France in 2015, the Six Nations, the high point scoring? It was that level of sheer, just phenomenal rugby. And Finn Russell and Ben White, excellent halfback pairing. Sione Tuipulotu showing what he really can do, and just some of the stuff he does with Finn Russell is just amazing, and it's just so good. And France, Anton Dupont, what was that? Joseph, you know what I speak of. That pass. What happened? It was just, that wasn't Dupont. That was that was just a drunk French fan in disguise, because he clearly didn't know what he was doing. After that, but with Scotland, that is was just brilliant. And I think if we can bring that against Ireland next week, we've just got to keep our fingers crossed and hope France don't get a bonus point, or we've got to hope England beat them. Well, I say hope. That's a big hope, is what I'll say. But
it's not happening. It's just forget it at this point. Forget it.
It won't happen. But I just think I don't know what happened with France. Scotland, I think Scotland were just too good for them. Game.
The scary thing about France for me, that was France at 60%, probably. Mm-hmm. They still got within 10 of Scotland with two tries in the final 3 minutes. This is still a great team.
I mean, as a Scotland supporter, usually if we see a comeback like that, we're usually quite disappointed. But no, I think you couldn't be disappointed beating what's possibly the best French team, if not the best French team in the world right now, and probably the second best team. And just Scotland put 50 points past them. 50.
South Africa's finest, Carl Steyn, running in 2 tries.
Whoa! Scott African, I'll have you though.
Scott African rubbish. I don't want to turn into that one Aussie PA who started introducing all the players from their first countries in the Lions tour. But yeah, again, Scott Africans, just chock full of them.
But even Scott African or not, there is a few things to take from France. The physicality was still quite something. I mean, some of the tackles were thunderous. You could see big guys like Piers Schoeman and Scott Cummings getting absolutely mullered by the French. It was just, honestly, it was unbelievable. And they're big guys and they're quite hard to take down. The French had no problem whatsoever. And to be fair, despite the French comeback, I think it was just due to the fact that Scotland were tired. I think Scotland were completely knackered at that point. And I'm quite glad Finn Russell got that penalty, because I would have hated to have seen it go 47-40 and France get 2 bonus points out of that, because that would have made things a little bit difficult. Don't get me wrong, I was a little bit frustrated about France getting that bonus point try, because, if they didn't, Scotland had a better chance at winning the Six Nations. But, to me, that was inevitable, because you look at Scotland, we've seen these things happen before. They'll look strong. It's like Italy. Look strong for the first 60, 65 minutes. Then the last 15 to 20 minutes, just flat out, just tired. But, and there's going to be one thing that's going to be bugging me now. And I know for those who are watching, if you remember that first episode, I said Gregor Townsend out. If I'm being honest, I'm eating my own words here. I don't know what. It's just this.
See, this is the difference, Billy, between myself and yourself. I have the guts because I've known about Borthwick for so long. I don't think it's going to change. I will say Borthwick out because I know that not much can change my opinion on this. This is not based on results. This is based on how England have played so-called rugby union for the last 3 years, or however long, 2 years, goodness knows. With Townsend, it's on results, and results are always going to change. I bet you that it's going to be Scotland versus Samoa, like it was in the summer, and it'll be a shock Samoa win, or shock Samoa win, and then it'll be Townsend out again. Is this just Scotland fans being reactionary again because they've only got 2 clubs to support at domestic level, so they just put all their eggs into the international basket?
I think it's because, speaking as a Scotland fan myself, I think it was just because that it was just the same thing every year, and we just got heartily sick of it, and we were just like, we need something new, because clearly we're not getting up to that next level. And obviously we're in a chance to win the Six Nations, but if we do, then we have gone up to the next level. We've got to ask ourselves this: is like, okay, we've lost to Italy. That's in the past now. We've managed to overcome England and really really well. We've managed to do that. We beat Wales by looking at ourselves and just going, we cannot afford to lose this. We need to absolutely hit them back. And we did. We hit them back and won the match with quite a comeback, being 15 points down. I say quite a comeback, just a small comeback, but for Scotland standards, that's pretty good. And then we put 50 points past one of the best teams in the world right now, who are running riot against every team, yet it was Scotland just pulled out the Uno reverse card. We ran riot over the French. Now the question is, we've done all that. What's our excuse not to do it in Dublin? That's the question. What's our excuse for not doing it in Dublin? What's our excuse for just throwing away, such a momentous, occasion where Scotland, this is the best chance Scotland have got of winning the Six Nations title since Italy joined in 2000. We've got to ask ourselves that. To me, and if I'm being honest, there's no excuse for us not beating Ireland. There's no excuse.
And because that's the case, Scotland will lose to Ireland because this is South Scotland rugby. I mean, this is, but the thing that I'm also slightly intrigued by, going into the summer, into the Nations Championship, these fixtures are blooming tough. Argentina away, South Africa away, New Zealand at home, Australia at home, building towards a World Cup. No, Australia aren't the real deal, but Dave Rennie's just coming in, and he's certainly a decent head coach.
100%.
I don't know if this is false hope going into the summer, because I get the sense this might be cloud nine, and then rolling into the Nations Championship, everything goes to pot because you're playing teams that have got either superb home advantage or are just that bit better than everyone else in the world. It might be slightly unfair to criticise Gregor Townsend for that.
Yeah, it is good. It is going to be hard to eat those words, absolutely. But I think, this is what I mean. I'll say it. I may as well say it. Gregor, I'm sorry I doubted you.
Steve, I'm not sorry that I've doubted you in this position right now. I am not sorry.
No, I think at this point in time, you for saying Borthwick out has more justification than me saying Townsend out. But again, it's like I said, the same things, and it's always the same in the interviews. We know we can beat these teams. We know we can do it. We know we can do this and that. And to be fair, they've actually gone and proved it. Yes, there was Italy, but ignore the Italy game. Just ignore the Italy game. Yes, we can do it. Hence why I'm asking the question, what's the excuse for beating Ireland? For not beating Ireland, sorry.
Well, I think there will be. I think, jokes aside, I think Scotland will beat Ireland. And I think that...
Yeah.
I think it will beat Ireland, but I think France will also absolutely hammer England, so France win the title. I mean, this is the way it goes.
It's going to be a really tough pill to swallow that we don't win the Six Nations, we still beat Ireland, and we could have done it if we had just beaten the Italians. That is just something. And I can hear all you England fans laughing. Just remember where Scotland are, where England are currently. Just remember that.
We have got no right to laugh at anybody at this point. We've just lost to Italy. I can't wait for a talk about England getting relegated into the Rugby Europe Championship. Oh, England getting relegated. Oh, will England Georgia to replace England? Georgia to replace. Oh, funny how people aren't saying that there should be relegation now and Wales or England at the bottom of the table, isn't it?
No, it's just like there's going to be a couple of people who are going to have a go at me for Scotland not winning the Six Nations, all because we couldn't beat Italy. Yeah.
It's funny.
Win, lose, or draw against Ireland, I'm happy with how the Six Nations has been. It has been 10 times better than what I thought it was going to be. It's not been perfect. I mean, a Scotland Six Nations campaign is never perfect. It never has been. And, I think France, you are right. I think France will absolutely hammer England because I think we could all hear Sean Edwards going absolutely irate on the French because I can hear it now. Him speaking French in the thickest Wigan accent possible. It's like you ever seen Ronan O'Gara speak French, and he does it in the most Irish accent possible. It's like that essentially. Yeah. But no.
C'est opportunité énorme.
Exactly like that. But the next question: are you excited for Super Saturday?
I'm very scared. I'm very
Don't
scared.
Speak, as a neutral. Don't speak as an England fan. As a neutral.
Okay. As a neutral, I am really excited because you've got England, you've got Italy versus Wales, a genuinely really interesting tie. Scotland versus Ireland, a tie which Scotland should win, but Ireland might have enough in the back pocket to get out of. And then France in absolutely jubilant mood against a jubilant crowd. Probably playing one of the most fun games of rugby ever known to mankind, whilst England fans just cry in the corner the entire time. Because, I mean, you said earlier on, Billy, that there is a slim chance of finishing bottom. I mean, currently, Wales are on minus 85 points difference. England on +4. There is a chance. I mean, this is a chance. I genuinely think France could put 60 on England. I seriously think France could put 60 on England in this fixture. This is how bad we are playing rugby.
Yeah. And if Wales just get that bonus point win over Italy, which I don't think they will, but if they do, oh my God, England to get a wooden spoon. Because I think, no, Ireland haven't got the wooden spoon yet in the Six Nations. No. They've got it in the Five Nations. Yeah, England and Ireland are the only teams to not have the wooden spoon. Because obviously France had it in 2013. Scotland have had it 4 times. Italy, well, I think everyone's lost count. Wales, I believe this will be their 3rd wooden spoon in a row, which is just
which is a record in itself. I mean, again, will England finish bottom? Probably not. But if Wales did win by 14 or 21 points, and England get demolished by 60, I mean, this is getting very close. This is getting worryingly close to being potentially a seriously damaging result. I'm very scared. Steve Borthwick out, and please, just whatever you do, don't make 20 changes to the starting 23, please, because changes don't make a difference. 10 changes to the starting 15, and I'm sitting here going, we've got Bevan Rodd starting at lock. We've got Luke Cowan-Dickie still starting for England. Who else have you got? You've got Ben Spencer at scrum half, who in the first 20 minutes could barely place a kick into touch without getting more than 10 meters of territory. I mean, so many stupid decisions that have been made, and the RFU are going to stick by their man.
But here's the one thing I hope Steve Borthwick understands. Let me remind you who England's attack coach is. Lee Blackett, the man responsible for Bath's excellent attacking rugby. Why in God's earth are you still doing Borthwick ball while with the same attacking coach who brought Bath so much success? What? Oh my God. He would honestly help England so much, and Borthwick is just keeping him in a cage going, you can do this and that, right, back it, right. It's like a kennel dog. Like, right, you can come out for a few minutes, right, you can do this and that, yeah, do what you need to do, right, back in the kennel now. Get in the kennel, that's it, you've had your play time.
Even funnier, the defence coach is Kevin Sinfield, who was a prolific try scorer for Leeds Rhinos in Rugby League, but he's on defence because Rugby League players, no matter if you're forward or a back, you're always defending. I mean, for crying out loud, tactical kicking, that was Kevin Sinfield's game for 12 years at Rhinos. Didn't he win something like 5 or 6 Super League titles? But no, Borthwick ball, line out, territory, box kick that goes 5 meters too long. Finn Smith can barely kick a conversion off a 20-degree angle.
It's honestly like Borthwick doesn't acknowledge the fact that he has other coaches with him. Honestly, if you look at when you know how ITV and the BBC will pan the camera to see the coach's box, in Borthwick's eyes, it's just him. It's just him all by himself. He's not using the other coaches that he has. Because England, with Lee Blackett, if he let Lee Blackett loose and let him do all of the stuff he wants to do, oh my God, England would be fantastic attacking. And also, Steve Borthwick, don't ever put Tommy Freeman as centre ever again. Don't you dare do that again. That was disaster. Yes, they did it against Wales last year, but guess what? That's Wales. Don't. He was better off on the wing, in my opinion. I don't know why you would do that. That's like putting Blair Kinghorn at fly half, because I'm sorry, I'm not the biggest fan of Kinghorn as a fly half. If he's a winger and a fullback, that's fine. But no, he is not allowed to touch the number 10 jersey ever again. I know Toulouse are putting him at 10, and that's driving me insane because it'll make Gregor Townsend go, "Oh, you're playing 10 now. You're looking impressive. Oh, Russell's on it. Russell." When Russell retires, we'll go, "All right, okay. You've been pretty good at 10 for Toulouse. We'll put you at 10." I will go irate for that. And to be fair, I will say that Townsend hasn't put Kinghorn at 10 for a while, so I will give you that, Townsend. Thank you for not doing that. But no.
Next, we're going to see Ellis Genge at fullback if Borthwick has his way. I mean,
that just sounds that honestly. If Borthwick puts Ellis Genge at fullback, they may as well be wearing they do wear pure white shirts, but just have no logo, no sponsor, everything, just white everything, as in the white flag of surrender.
Final note before we... I mean, it would be a proper old surrender, no French reference. To close this out, we have another favourite ITV advert with a new jingle, which is "Do It With Acrobats." How does this rate compare to the Samsung advert with Hugo Monnier at the pub next to the Scottish fans?
Can they just stop doing ads full stop? Because when me and my brother were watching the Italy game, Jamie George, I think it was Jamie George, yes, was speaking to the referee, and an advert appeared, and we were absolutely furious because we wanted to hear what Jamie George was saying. Yes, the commentator mentioned it, but no, I want to hear what Jamie George exactly said. I think the whole ads thing is stupid, and it was no wonder why I could enjoy just watching Scotland France on the BBC, because adverts just don't exist on the BBC. So that is something. It was just honestly just.
On that note of advertising ruining the game and the game's gone, that's the end of episode 4 when England collapsed. Ooh. Scotland rose. Sorry, Billy.
What predictions? What are our predictions for next week? We gotta
France by 56, Scotland by 5, and Wales by 15.
I would say France by 57, and I'm not just saying that just so you said 56. I honestly think France are going to absolutely hammer England. It's going to be a decimation. I'm so sorry, Scotland, but I think Ireland to win it by 4. Look at how we played against Italy and Wales away. I'm so sorry. As much as I would love for Scotland to win, I think Ireland are just going to edge over. And Wales v Italy in Cardiff, it's going to be incredibly close. I think Italy to win by 3. France to win the whole 6. France to win the whole 6 nations. We said they already won it after beating Italy, but Scotland made sure that they didn't properly fully win it until the very last day. But no, it's going to be, I think, one of the best Super Saturdays ever. We are going to see some quality rugby and potentially the death of England. But yeah, on on that note, thank you very much for listening, or on Spotify, or watching on the YouTube channel. And we will see you all later. Take care, everyone.